a freebie for your students, just in general, because we should share the wealth. And I low key would love to steal your ideas for myself. Also, is there any incentives that you do in your classroom? Teachers learn from teachers. And the one wonderful thing about being a teacher is we love to learn. That's why we're teachers in the first place. So let's learn from each other. And maybe you're recalling an incentive that a teacher did for you, or you're going to share incentives that you do in your classroom. All right, but let's get started. Maximize, incentivize, low cost, high impact rewards for a highly motivated classroom. Ooh, look, so many. A free printer. OMG. See, yeah, share the Pizza Hut. Oh, I love pepperoni stuffed crust. See, look. All right, so this is presented by me, Joy Blake, and I'm a middle school math teacher at Poe Classical. I've been a teacher since 2005. I've taught ELA for a little while. I've taught 5th grade math and science. I've taught 7th grade math. I've worked at I worked at 2 charter schools, one in Chicago, one in Buffalo, New York. And I've also worked in CPS at Herzl, Shube, Nicholson. Where else? And now I'm at Poe. I feel like I'm missing a school, but and Laura Ward as well. So there's so many incentives I've seen in that time. And so let's talk about it. So as I said, I'm Joy Blake. I'm a Screencastify coach, Pear Deck certified coach, Apple teacher, Google certified trainer, Miss Principal AP Gaines, hi, and also a Gemini certified educator. And I just became a Google certified innovator. Huh, mind blown. There's only 3,307 of us in the entire world. And they chose me to do this. So I guess I'm an innovative person. No, I'm just kidding. I've been working towards this for 5 years. Now, because we did have some technical difficulties, I'm not certain if my dad is in here. So I'm just gonna keep going, and then I have to answer questions at the end because we did have some issues with joining. So anyways, my dad is Michael Levy Sr. He's always with me every presentation. And if he can make it in, then he'll be helping with the chat and getting like questions and stuff like that. So if you want to get the slide deck, please click on this QR code. Click on the link. Remember, you're not going to be able to make an exact copy of the slide deck because that's my intellectual property. But you are going to be able to get access to it. And you see my family, my husband, and my daughter, Bella and Chance. They're the whole reason why I did this. And these are pictures of me this summer at the Atlanta Innovator Academy. And I always like to say this to inspire somebody. It's something that you're really good at, dealing with tech. And there's an ed tech company that will pay you for your knowledge, that will incentivize you. Google incentivized me, since we're talking about incentives. In 2020, I was like, I thought everybody was using the Google Classroom. I have been using Google Classroom since 2014. I thought everybody was. And then all of a sudden, I started to be like, I can help. It was an incentive to help others with tech. And I became a level 1 and 2 certified educator, then a trainer, and now an innovator. And that's the path that you would take to do that. But maybe you're not a Google person, but every ed tech thing, there's a lot of educational companies that will help you or pay you or fly you out or take you somewhere just for your knowledge as a teacher. We are valued, and we have value. And it's just a matter of figuring out where we can apply that value to benefit us, the best incentive of all. If you, so remember, get the slide deck. Now, also, so I can remember, how did my incentive journey start as a teacher? For 5 years, I taught in Milwaukee. I was a newer teacher. That's where I'm from. Go the ill mill. But anyways, 5 years I taught in Milwaukee when I first started out. And I didn't realize I was using incentives. And the first time I realized, like, this is an incentive in quotation. When I moved to Chicago for my husband, because that's where he's from. And I moved to Chicago and I worked at Perspectives Middle Academy. And that was a charter school in Auburn Gresham. And that's when they were like, we want you to lead the incentive committee. And I was like, incentive committee? And then I realized, like, oh, I'm everything that I've been doing, the school dances, the field trips. I remember in Milwaukee, I took a group of students on a boat cruise. I was doing the most. I didn't even connect that these were incentives. I just wanted to do nice things for my students. And that's really when I was able to categorize, like, oh, this is an incentive, this is instructional, and realize how many incentives and things I could do with my students. So every time when I start a session, I always like to talk about what you're going to see, how you can use it, and why I know it works. In this session, you're not as much going to be seeing me doing as many demos. I'm more going to be showing you websites and where to go to get the incentives, and then how you can use it. Take anything you see in this website. If you click on a link, if it's an image or a picture, it's probably tied to a link. And you can take that and make a copy of, if it's a Google Doc or something, or a sheet, make a copy of it, and then it's yours to have. And why I know it works is because I'm not going to share something with you that I'm not going to do myself. So that's the main thing. I know it works. I've done it with students, and it's been adapted. Okay, so then the next thing, here's my learning objectives. So for the learning objectives today, we're going to define what is an incentive, and we're going to evaluate incentives. We're going to balance motivation dynamics, understanding. If you understand what motivates your students, that's really how you can create a quality incentive. It's not really about what you want to do. It's what motivates your students to do what you want them to do, if that makes sense. Next, we're going to discover student desires. And last but not least, let's use some pre-made systems. And an added bonus is that we're going to have a whole section tied to incentives and special deals for teachers. So here's my table of contents. So that's the foundation. What's an incentive and the meaning of it? What's the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic drive? Now, when I used to get guilted by other teachers, I guess they would be like kind of veteran teachers, especially when I was a younger teacher. Like, I'll never forget that I came up with, I should have shared that in here, but I didn't think about it. But I came up with like a daily progress report system for a student that was having like a lot of problems and like behavior problems. So I came up with a daily incentive for them. And if they hit these little markers throughout the day and throughout the week, then they got to pick what they got at the end of the week. And I'll never forget, and it was working so good for this. I remember the kid's name. His name was Christopher. It was working so good for him. He was really a behavior student. And then out of nowhere, once we were starting to make strides, his mom came into the main office to talk to me about this incentive program. And she was like, that explained why he was so bad, but that's me. Actually, no child is bad. They just make bad decisions. Okay. But that explained to me, the mom came to me and was like, I don't want you to do this anymore with my son. You're bribing my son. And I don't want my son to be bribed. And I had to stop the whole program, disappoint the kid who went directly back to these extreme behavior issues. And that's when I realized the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation and applying that properly with students. So that's what we're going to talk about, because you don't want it to seem like a bribe, even though I know for a fact I wasn't bribing the kid, because me and the kid together came up with the plan. But I guess in a way, I don't know, it just was random. I just want to talk about that. Then part 2, we're going to talk about the low cost bulk. And when I first started teaching back in the day, I would be spending so much money. I was single and I had no kids. Once I had kids, I was like, this gotta stop. And so basically I was going to Dollar Tree and trying to create like a store where kids could use money and buy real items. And Then I started to think, what can I do for free? Especially once I had kids, I went on maternity leave. I came back more and more. I didn't have the time to be going to Dollar Tree like that. And two, I started to be like, wait, literally free time is free. And kids love 10 minutes of that. That is an incentive. And I started to think about what can I do that motivates them that they want to do. And last, of course, the last part, as I mentioned, the teacher incentives. So let's get into the foundations and because in order to really craft a good incentive, you have to know what an incentive truly is. Now, I always have these stories from my teaching experience, which is true. So I told you the story about Christopher. That really happened. Other things I've encountered in my years of teaching is the hater teacher. So there's always a teacher out there that's like, they might be like, I don't need to do stuff for kids for them to do what I tell them in my classroom. Oh, you're doing a whole class party. I don't do that type of stuff. Things like that. And then it kind of can deter you a little bit because it made me question myself, like, oh, should I do this whole class party? Like, oh man, what is this veteran teacher doing to get all these kids to listen to her? How is she? Now, some people do have strong classroom management, but I feel every person is driven by incentives. So if someone says, "Oh, I never use incentives," then it's like, "Oh, you don't use coupons? You don't use reward programs? If you don't use none of that stuff as yourself, as a person, then I believe you." But every single person in some way is motivated by incentives. You're right, Leanna. Your paycheck is an incentive. That's what makes us go to work. So don't let any hater teacher who's like salty, because sometimes they're salty because they didn't think of the idea. So they want to hate on your wonderful idea incentive. So keep going. If it's working for you, if you're not stressed out, if it's working for your classroom, focus on what works for you and your students. That's what comes first. But we're all driven by incentives, coupons, paychecks, reward programs, special offers, limited access. Usually you can think, what incentives do I like? And then try to bring some of those same systems to your classroom. So let's get into it. I must have. Oh, that's to my website. Okay. So, and this goes into something I always like to share. It doesn't matter if you build a thing right. If you aren't building the right thing, it's so important to think about. You can have the most beautiful incentive. You can have, you go on Instagram. Go on Instagram and look up some of these Instagram teachers. Their classrooms look awesome. We never get to see if they really managing the kids. It doesn't matter if you build something that looks right. If it's not the right thing for you first, and then your students. Best way to figure this out. Ask your students. And then, because we have Gemini, take that data from the students and have Gemini summarize it. Don't waste your time going through what every kid's favorite show is or candy. Have Gemini be like, hey, here's all my students' responses from the interest survey. Make a Google form. That's an interest survey. Then share that spreadsheet within Gemini. And then say to Gemini, summarize these student responses and give me 5 incentives you think would work best for this group of students. Boom, that took you 5 minutes. You had some ideas. Remember, you want to build the right thing. So, it doesn't matter if you build a thing right if you aren't building the right thing. Because if you don't build the right thing, it's just going to crash. You're going to get frustrated. And guess what? You're going to be back at ground zero. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to start over. I incentivize my own kids. And it's hard to incentivize them sometimes. Imagine trying to do it with 30 kids. You have to have a good incentive. Oh, my dad's in here. Mr. Levy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi there. I found my way. Hello, everybody. Yeah, Joy's laughing now. We were a little bit lost from you folks. Sorry about that. But we're back. Yeah, first of all, my name is Michael Levy. I'm that guy on the picture there. Her father, she's so amazing. So I'm happy that she's doing this presentation for you guys about incentives. I think it's a big deal when you offer encouraging things for young people. Anyway, a little bio on me. I'm a 8-year Coast Guard veteran. I'm also a 40-year veteran of industry. I was a product development engineer for some of the large power solutions companies in Wisconsin and Milwaukee, with Briggs and Stratton, for example, Harley Davidson, for example, those kind of companies. So a lot of my history is in tech. And so Joy and I, we've been at this for about 6 years. Love every time I get together to meet new people in a virtual state and to help her out. And so my goal is to just be in the background, co-pilot. And so as you ask questions to her, I snip them out, and then I put them away so that she can answer them at the end of her session. So don't leave. If you do give up a question, she doesn't answer it, that's okay. She will answer it at the end. That's enough about me. I think it's all about you guys, so I'm going to leave. It's good meeting everybody. Take care.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Levy. So let's keep going. So we have, oh, my presentation is kind of wonky. Okay, it's going. I'm here. What the? Who the? Okay. So what makes a good incentive? What makes a really good incentive is targeted and it's relevant. In my opinion, you don't want to make an incentive that's covering too many things at once. That was one of my biggest mistakes. So when I'm saying targeted, I think about if you want an incentive to improve attendance or to get kids in your classroom on time, then attendance and getting kids in your class on time from the hallway are two different incentives. You can have a targeted incentive just to get kids at school, and then you can have a targeted incentive to just get them into class on time. What I found, I had like a banker system, and I wanted them to get in class on time because kids linger in the hall. So I had a system where if you got in my class by 9:10, you got this amount of banker bucks. If you were the first person in my class, you got double the amount, which made them literally rush to get in class. Targeted incentive is relevant to what I need the kids to do, not what they want or what they need. It's like, what to make my class run smoothly, I need them to get here on time. I need them to come to school. I need them to exit in a certain amount of time. In my case, I actually need them to pass papers quickly. In the first weeks of school, I literally timed them to see. And the record that we have is we passed out papers to a class of 24 in 12 seconds. And this is my incentive. I make it a game. The biggest incentive is sheer competition. Costs you nothing. If you can have a class competing against another class, you just built an incentive right there for the winner, of course. But I have a race of passing out papers. I time them. Who can beat the record? Who can do it? And remember, with an incentive, when you make it relevant, you want to make sure at next week, we going back, save your tears, dry your eyes. We going back next week. It just hit me today. So yeah, it's a lot. But anyways, next week, and when you do week 0, you want to tell kids, I take time to talk through incentives, and I let them know, hey, some incentives will be a money cost, or you'll actually get something or win something. Other incentives are just for fun. You're not going to get something every single time, because once they think that, then it's going to lessen your incentives if they think they should get something every time. I was just at a training at the Google office the week of August 5th through the 6th, and they had a random icebreaker where you had to be the rock, paper, scissors champion. And then you did rock, paper, scissors, and you did against two. And if you won, the person that lost had to cheer for you. And then eventually, I was shocked. I made it to the final, and I won the rock, paper, scissors competition. Everyone in the room was cheering for the both sides. Guess what? I won. I was like, do I get anything? And they said, no. And I said to myself, and I said to them out loud, just the thrill of me winning was enough. And that's what you need to think about with your students. If your students start expecting that they get something every single time you do something, you're doing something wrong. You're giving them too much. It got to be limits. Remember, for your incentives, they have to be stacked. There should be levels to when they get something so that they feel like, wow, I really earned that. I really deserve this. The next thing, I already talked about it being low cost, but you want it to be low cost and high impact, where you see a sustainable change. If for some reason, for instance, I recommend keeping incentives going for at least 21 days, because guess what? They say 21 days makes a habit. And before you know it, because you're working on something else, it's the same as goal setting. You can let them know, like, if you set a goal that you want to lose 10 pounds, an incentive is you can fit different and cuter clothes. It's the same concept. You're going to get something for your hard work. It's up to you to figure out what it is you're going to get and why it's of value to you. So those are the things you really have to think about when you're talking to your students. Having their name on the board, no cost at all. Getting the whole class to clap for them, no cost. Every time a student gets 100% on the exit slip, we give them 2 claps, just like this. The whole class, and I say their name, we all clap twice. That's it. I don't give them anything for achievement, but sometimes recognition can go a really, really, really long way. If you can think of different ways to recognize students, for instance, for unit tests, if a child gets 80% mastery or higher on a whole unit test, I have a poster where I write the name of the child that got it, and then I put a special star next to a kid that got 100%. That's all I do. I'm not giving you a treat because you supposed to be doing good. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So think about it when you're giving these incentives. Last but not, before I forget, also classroom celebrations, they go so far. Just if you can that's free and no cost. It takes a little bit of time out of your class, but it actually makes a difference. If the students, for instance, I remember, let's say, I have so many, but let's say if the whole class gets to their seat before the 2-minute timer when we're starting class. Yeah, teach like a champion. Oh yeah, there we go. Miss Gilmore putting it in there. I had the teach like a champion. She right. I had the exact same celebrations in my classroom. I didn't realize that was teach like a champion, but those little celebrations go a long way. Round of applause. We clap. And when I do round of applause, I'm very strict. I say we doing, because some kids will try to steal the thunder. Whenever you're doing incentives, you don't want someone to take a positive thing and twist it to something negative because they need attention. So if I'm doing round of applause, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I teach them that, and we keep doing it until they get it right. Any type of celebration, we do a thunderclap. We do firework. Raise the hands up, goes up, clap. Firework. 167 was a thing. We did that. What's up? I have so many celebrations. You can do silent celebration. So many little celebrations for when a child or the class does something great. It's just important. Be consistent with them, be strict with them, and don't let somebody steal the thunder from something positive. Remember, for every 1 negative interaction, it takes 3 positives to bring it back to ground zero. Okay. So anyways, that's what goes into the timely feedback. If you're going to do an incentive, be consistent. Don't stop doing it suddenly, because sometimes kids come in, they already don't trust you. Their parents had a bad experience with school. They have had bad experiences with school. They don't trust you. The best way to build trust and community is to be consistent. Stay on track. And if you're having a hard time keeping up with the incentive, nominate a kid to do it. They love that. That's an incentive and an incentive within an incentive. Let them help you lead it and keep up with it. And also, just a side note, when you put a kid in charge, if you randomly forget, which I would never do this, but if I do randomly forget, guess what I do? I blame the kid that was supposed to be in charge. That was supposed to be in charge of the incentive. I'm like, Martin, remember, Martin, it's your job to put this up here. You forgot. Hey, you guys are upset. Talk to Martin. That's his job. It's easy ways. Put kids in charge to help you along the way. Now, with the intrinsic and extrinsic drives, most importantly, we have to know about the students we serve. Right now, we have probably in our class the most, we have Generation Alpha. These are the digital first explorers. They grew up with tablets, smartphones, smart boards. They're learning about AI, and they like more experiences. If you think about our world today and maybe what you had as a kid, our world now is more about experiences. You don't just, for instance, my family wants to see the Odyssey. We want to see it at the Woodridge, Illinois theater because they have a 7mm screen, which apparently is the best screen to see the movie at. And everyone's rushing to this theater. It's sold out because guess what? Now everything is an experience. Everything is a post on social media. Everything is to show what you're doing that no one else is doing. That's the same. That's how our kids think. If it's something that they're like, I could do this at home. This ain't, they're not as, they're not as easily pleased, in my opinion. That's why getting their voices and have them solve the problem is the best thing. But I also discovered, they want a wow factor. Such a good way of putting it. And then also what I discovered is sometimes not every incentive is for every kid. When I was a 5th grade teacher, I used to do Class Dojo. I had it down to a science. I had coupons and everything. Then for some reason I noticed they were doing it, but not into it. And then I just stopped and asked the class, like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, what's the issue? And then I never forget a student told me, hey, I did this in 2nd grade. I don't want to do this anymore. They were like, I'm too old for this. This is too babyish. She was like, I appreciate what you're doing, Miss Blake, but I would like to do something else. And I was in shock, like, oh. And and then that helped me to find something else to do. We started doing, the website is blocked by CPS, but it's an awesome website. And it's called Class Craft. And that was more of a video game based incentive, because there's so many incentive based websites that already got the system for you. Class Craft is one, Class Dojo is one. If you like Kahoot, Kahoot now has the Kahootopia, which is like where you can build an island and classes compete against each other to get through different Kahoots. Competition already pre-made for it. Stuff's pre-made. Look for pre-made incentives. And don't forget to use Gemini, because Gemini and Gems, there's a thing called vibe coding where it can code a game for you if you turn on Canvas. So remember, you can use, if I have time, I'll show you, but I got to keep going. But back to the students. You have Generation Alpha, you have Generation Beta. These Generation Beta, these are the kids that were born with AI being invented. So they're going to be completely different. They want creative, innovative challenges. And these are the students you're serving. The number one place students say that they learn is not the classroom. The students we serve say the number one place they learn is YouTube. The number one, they don't see the value as much as they used to. They think they're going to be influencers. They think they don't need school. They want to know, why am I doing this? So your incentives have to really like work against that. Keep in mind, intrinsic motivation is driven from within. A child, the best incentive is one that makes a kid not realize that they're doing it for themselves. Those are good incentives. But guess what? Some of the incentives we're going to do are going to be extrinsic. And that's okay as long as it's like consistent and has proven results. So that is a jump start to the positive behavior, which before you know it, instead of it being a jump start to positive behavior, it becomes a habit and something that the child internalizes and finds out like, oh, I'm actually good at this. But remember, main way to make it intrinsic is to have autonomy and choice. So thinking about those two things. So motivation. And a lot of people say this with students. Oh, he just put his head down. He don't want to do the work. He never come with a pencil. Stuff like that. Number one, if this is occurring, the number one thing you're trying to figure out is the motivation equation. And not just for one child, you can do this for a class and you can do it for yourself. Motivation is an easy equation. It's value divided by effort equals motivation. What a child values will dictate the amount of effort they put into it, which will motivate them to start. My best friend only eats, she's a vegetarian. I do not value that lifestyle. I should. But because I don't value it, I don't take the effort like she does to meal prep and do the things I need to do. And once I start to value it more, I'll have more effort and motivation to do it, which is in my future. I know it can happen, but this is my example. If you think about your students, ask them in the beginning weeks of school, do a value assessment, find out what they value. If a child only values fun, they're only gonna put effort towards and be motivated by things that they think are fun. It's the same with an incentive. So when you're thinking about an incentive, think about what's the perceived value that you're giving to the kid and the expectancy of success. And you, as a teacher, you want to put that over. So really you're thinking about, what do I need my classroom to look like? Maybe you're sick and tired of papers always being on the floor. Make an incentive for that. And that's low cost to you. And you want to make sure that it's low friction. It's not taking too much time out of your day. You're not stressed out. You're not having to go out and do stuff, because that'll motivate you and them to actually finish the incentive to the end. So you really want to think of like, what do you value in your classroom? What does success look like? And then think about the low cost and reduction of friction for you, and that'll motivate you to have that incentive. That's the same for students. If they value it, like for instance, every year I have incentive field trips. We finna go skating. Last year we went skating and bowling. You want to go? You know how many kids want to go skating and bowling? A lot. That's what they value, the fun. But their effort had to go to finishing their homework, finishing their packets, which they were motivated to do, some of them, so that they can go skating with their friends. So it's just about thinking about that. So ask your students what they actually care about. Some kids, I was shocked. Like I said, I was shocked when the students said they didn't care about Class Dojo. Other kids, they don't care about them fake money systems. They don't care about that. Other kids, they don't care about candy. They don't care about food. And remember, if you're ever giving out food, you're not supposed to make it at home. And students cannot bring pre-made food from home. But maybe they want nachos. If they like nachos, you can bring in a crock pot. You can make it, whatever. Think about, what do they value? An extra recess? You'll be shocked how many older kids still want extra recess. Or just think, what do they value? Increase your expectancy. So keep your rewards. Don't make it too hard. And I see this so many times with teachers, and they make it out like the child is the problem. No, you're the problem. There's no way this kid is going to get all this done that you had them trying to do as an incentive. If you start to notice that ain't nobody meeting your incentive, it's too hard. Change the incentive. What's the goal? Is your goal to torture them, or is your goal to actually get them to do the thing you want them to do? So you have to figure that out. If you start to notice nobody is doing it, nobody's excelling, it might be you. And then last but not least, decrease friction. Make the system, the tracking, as simple as possible. If there's any way for Gemini to track stuff for you, have Gemini track. Take a picture of your classroom, or take a picture of the issue you're facing, or take a picture of the student work that you want to change. Upload it into Gemini as a file, and say, hey, I'm a middle school teacher, and I really want to come up with an incentive to stop this from happening. Any ideas? Use a picture. Take a picture, and that saves you time. You ain't got to type everything out. Also, so let's talk through what's my time? Oh, okay. Let's talk through low cost, high impact reward systems. So first, I just want to give you the do's and don'ts of incentives. And yes, I made this whole image on Gemini. A simple incentive is to have kids. The simplest incentive, I had Math Monday. Kid had to send me a joke, and a kid had to send me a math meme. And every Monday, I feature that kid's joke and math meme. Every kid loved it. Free. And you can have a kid make an image using Gemini that you show every week. The math picture of the day. Free. Like I said, kids like recognition. But I made this, everybody likes recognition. Think about it. I'm a Google innovator. You know why? Because low key, I like recognition too. And I'm 44. Everybody likes it. So if you're thinking about it, the do's and don'ts. Protect the value of the reward. So the criteria has to be clear and easy for you to track. That's number one. It has to be something that there's no gray area about. So for instance, one of my, like something they might be working on is they're not turning in homework. Instead of just say turn in homework, you might want to add a percentage. Like we need 95% of homework turned in order to get this incentive. Or for the same thing in regards to attendance, I only give them credit for 100% attendance. And so that's a clear metric. It's not just like your incentive can't just be like, come to school. Think of it almost like a SMART goal. You want it to be measurable, realistic, and timely. It's the same thing with the criteria for your incentive. So you don't want to give out handouts. Don't just give them stuff because they didn't earn it. That is the worst thing to do. That does not make them, they should feel like they have accomplished and earned it in some way. They will try to manipulate you. They will try. You have to be willing to say no, because in the end, just giving them the easy road, it hurts them in the end. So no need for bargains or lowering the bar. If the bar is 100% attendance, I've had, like, for instance, I have 100% attendance as an incentive, and we keep track. Some kids will be like, well, Joshua was here earlier in the day, but he had an early dismissal. Does that count? No, he ain't here. No, we need 100. Don't lower the bar. 100% attendance is 100% attendance. Like, right is right. That's teach like a champion thing. Keep it. Don't lower the standard. Hold firm to your boundaries. And I do take time for it every day. Like, this picture is actually pretty good, because if it's an incentive that we're doing, I try to budget in 5 minutes a day to go through the incentive. Did we have 100% attendance? Did we have less than 3 outbursts in class? Because outbursting is super irritating to me. So I always have an incentive about that. If you outburst more than 3 times, it's a wrap. No, you ain't getting that. What else are the things I'll do? Like, no outbursts. If it was a uniform school, I would have 90% in like uniform. Everyone's in uniform. Everyone's prepared. If a kid asks me to go to their locker, you're not prepared. Easy to track. Like if you don't got a pencil, not prepared. We're not getting that today. So make sure the incentives are things that make your life easy, but take time every day, especially if they're working towards something, to kind of check in on the incentives. Don't be random and moody. It's true. You have to take, yeah, I do have charts. I'm gonna get to that later, but you have to take time to track it. And if you feel yourself running out of time, again, that comes where you have a student help with that. Like, did we have 100% attendance? Did we have less than 3 people late? Did what? But I just have on time. I only if somebody come in late, y'all ain't got it. No, like you just gotta have high standards, and then they earn the prize. Also, I have the leveled incentives. So because I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th, and sometimes we'll do the same incentive for all. I'll do the same incentive for all 3 grades. I have an incentive within an incentive where I'll be like, the first class to get these things that we're working on will get to choose the treat for everybody else, because you'll lose time. Don't give every single kid a choice with incentives. Don't give every single class a choice. Then that builds competition. Like if you're first, you get to choose the treat. If we're doing a food incentive of some sort, if you're the first class to finally earn the food incentive, which typically takes a whole quarter, that's how hard my incentives are. If you're the first class to finally earn the food incentive, you're the one who gets to choose the food that everybody else eats. So, or the music that everybody else listens to, because that will make, and then when a class doesn't earn it, like last year, my 7th grade, in the beginning of the year, the 7th graders did not earn any incentives. They kept working on it, and by the end of the year, they were the first class to earn the incentive. So don't back down. If they didn't get it, don't secretly let them get nachos and they didn't earn nachos. No, y'all want to smell, you can smell it. You ain't getting this. Like, be like that. No, don't do it. The next thing, how to find what students want. Use Gemini to come up with surveys. Use Gemini to analyze surveys. I included a special, I included an interest form for you. That it's on Google Forms. You could take it and give it to your students, or if you want to customize it, then remember, Gemini is also within Google Forms. So you could take this Google form that I gave you, insert it into Google Forms using Gemini, and have Gemini recreate it with the questions you need. So just remember, you can use Gemini to come up with it. Do a survey once a month. I also do surveys for like, what treat would you like for this incentive, or what music would you like? If I do, you can listen to music during the do now time. I have a class DJ who's the one they're the one who's responsible for getting all the music together. I'm not keeping up with all that. The child can do that. So make sure you give responsibilities to the kids, and leverage, like I said, leverage status. Let people be like, oh, you don't get to do this because you ain't do this. And it's okay for it to be like levels and stuff, because some kids are really high functioning and they really need the challenge. But then again, there's some kids who always feel like they don't get incentives. So I always try like to make accommodations. For instance, if I had, like, for instance, we had a field trip where they couldn't have more than 3 write-ups to go. For some of my kids that I know either have an IEP or I know they're undiagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder. You have oppositional defiant disorder, but you haven't been diagnosed with that. If I find a kid that is like that, sometimes I'll modify, like, okay, let's make your goal 6 write-ups or whatever it might be. Like, that's just an example. Because you don't want to, because there's always a kid that never gets to go. So you want to think through, like, how can I make it something for them so they can be a part of it? And my husband taught me this, which was so interesting, but he was just saying, just with people in general, like, don't focus on what they didn't do. Like, don't focus on what the student didn't do. Instead, focus on what you need to happen in your classroom. That's what can make incentives go wrong, because teachers, unfortunately, we can get to lecturing. We all have done it. And that's when kids get defiant. They lose trust. It breaks down when you start focusing on, well, y'all didn't do this and y'all didn't get y'all pencils and y'all never have your binder. And focus instead, flip the switch and be like, I need you to have your binder every day. And one way I'm going to help you to do this is by giving you this target goal. And every time you have that binder, eventually we're going to get this. So we're focused on what we need them to do, not what they didn't do. They're going to start tuning you out. So I have a couple examples. The banker system is what I use at my school. It's free. And I really like Banker. It actually has like, you can see how much money kids have. It's for intermediate and high school. They can buy cars with the fake money. It's like a fake economy. It's based out of the UK. One of the teachers found this in my school, and it's like really good. And they can like buy cars. They can invest their money in high interest, high yield savings accounts. They can invest in stocks. Are they real? No. And then they can buy it's such a good website. They can even send each other money, which you will have to track, but it's so many things and you could charge them rent. Like we charge them rent for having a desk. You could charge them rent and that comes out of their money every single week. If they have a job, they get paid every single week. It doesn't necessarily connect. I don't know if it connects to Google Classroom. I can't even answer that. I think so. I don't really know. I'll say I don't know. But what I tied it to take it to another level was coupons. So then they get, which is free, and you can have Gemini create these coupons. You don't need to do it. And then you can have Gemini create the Google form where they purchase their coupons. And then you can have Gemini analyze the responses from the form that it creates to tell you which coupons a child should get. Remember, use AI. It will help save time. But these are coupons, and ain't none of them gonna cost me nothing. When I'm saying they get $500, that's in fake money. And it's because it's an auction, they're bidding against each other. I had a kid bid $501 to get $500. And that's a way to teach them different things. So I have these coupons. I made them up. They're tied to the banker system that I have here. And then the only thing I do have to do is go in and take the money out. But in the scheme of it, it's kind of quick, especially if you like, and I only open up Blake Bucks like once a month. I don't do it like once you're doing it over once a week. Some stuff is a once a week incentive. Some stuff is a once a month incentive. Some stuff is a once a quarter incentive. Some stuff is a once a year incentive. Make sure you think of like what those things are. Like for instance, the 8th grade banquet, that in my opinion, that's a once a year incentive. And they, based off of how they act by the end of the year, they get to go to it. Things like that. So that's Blake Bucks. You can see my form where they buy the coupon they want. Here's an example of the responses as I was talking about. But some kids spent $5,000. Well, this is how much money they had in their account. This kid had $5,264 in their account. And then from there, they can use that money to bid on particular coupons that they want. And like you said, just this kid right here, just to bring their purse in class, they spent $1,500. Now, keep in mind, I'm super strict about purses and bags. So that's what, so I'm not just like, oh, on Sundays, you can bring your purse in here. No, I don't do that. I'm not like, they know they can't bring in purses. They can't bring in water bottles because you know good and daggone well it ain't water in them water bottles. It's be smoothies, soda. You're not bringing that in here. So it actually feels like a privilege when they can buy it. So you want to make some things just, no, you cannot have it. So then when it's an incentive, they can. I always share the Build Your Own Aquarium. It's so cute to me. And it's good. It's free. But it does take you time to build. But guess what, guys? You have Gemini. Share this slide deck within Gemini. turn on Canvas, and because Canvas is how it can make slides, and tell it to make something similar. And then you can, but basically it's where students based off of behavior can buy certain fake fish, and they can use their money to decorate their aquariums. And the best thing to do, they can earn badges for participation or being good in small group or being neat. They can earn special badges. But for doing this is so cute. I mean, I can't get enough of it. And the main thing is that what I found is helpful is let the students have 2 minutes to show their aquarium. It ain't gonna take them long. Get a kid to, or you just show an aquarium. And you could do this at the same time. You could do a zoo, you could do an aquarium, you could every quarter you could change it to keep it fresh and keep them like into decorating. So I just think that's a cool free one. Remember, because I started a little late, so I know I'm gonna go over, but I'm almost to the end. Just keep in mind for field trips, I have field trip criteria. Now, the only ones I don't have field trip criteria is if it's educational. I'll try to reduce some of it. But the other component is so for instance, we went to go see the movie Go, which is a great movie to potentially show as an incentive. Kids like that movie. And they had that by the end of the quarter, by progress report time. So this is a way to get their grades up in progress reports. They had to have a C or higher in the class, and they couldn't. I think that was the only incentive. Not yet. Sorry, this is my daughter, Bella. Bella, you want to say hi to them? Let's go on, girl.
I thought you said I could.
Okay, get out of here. Go.
Sorry.
Just sit in the chair over there. You can come up here, but you can't be on the camera. Okay, sorry. Just sit in your chair with your tablet. Sorry. But anyways. You get, and I think I included this field trip form for you to take. This one is to go skating. I had an incentive where they had to turn in all their homework packets because we were having issues with homework. And then the other part with my field trip incentives, I always make sure there's work when they return, because I use that as their ticket to the next field trip. So when you return, you're going to have to do this random worksheet tied to where we went, and that's your ticket to the next one. So that's just something to think about. Like, always make these kids work. They ain't got nothing else to do. Get them work to do. The next one. So remember, flexible seating is a great incentive. This is an example of a positive phone call goes really hard. Kids, a positive phone call, and you can just make an email template that sends out. Parents don't know you're using the same template over and over again, and neither do the kids. And you can send that out to parents. That really goes hard. I saw a teacher online, or a teacher that I work with, and she does random phone call home Thursdays. Every Thursday, she does a random phone call home. It could be positive or it could be negative, but the kids don't know. I thought that's genius, because every Thursday they know she's finna make calls. So just think about it. Homework passes go hard. I found if you make a homework pass, make sure you put an amount. Is it a 1-day homework pass, a 3-day homework pass, a 5-day homework pass? My max is 7 days, which is a week off. So just think about that. These are some of the incentives I do. I have done attendance bingo. It works phenomenally. Every single time, we have, in this case, we were having really bad issues with attendance. This was during COVID, but maybe you want your thing to be 100% attendance. Every time we have 100% attendance, we get to roll the dice, which is a virtual dice. On Gemini, they go here, they roll the dice, and then whatever number comes up, that's 1 through 100, we put a little smiley face on. Once we have 10 in a row, we get donuts, or we get some kind of little incentive that's tied to attendance. I do another incentive called 100 100s. Every time I pass back homework, and if you have 100% on the assignment, we put a little like token in a jar, and once the jar is full and gets to 100 items, they can pick a small item to enjoy until that item runs out. So just think about, and I always like to tell teachers, is it 12? Okay. I always like to tell teachers that Prodigy, for kids actually really like Prodigy. That's one. And two, Prodigy, if you sign up for Prodigy has, I don't know about how it can log in or whatever, but Prodigy has a lot of already built-in incentives that they'll give to you for free. And all you got to do is just get your kids playing the game that they already like to play. They give out Amazon gift cards. They give out tons of stuff. They have like challenges. And if your class completes the challenge, they do incentives. So I always recommend use Prodigy. I already talked about my parties. I definitely do parties. See this little dancing crock pot? I love me a crock pot. It's the easiest food party. And kids will bring so much stuff to go along with it. If you do nachos, kids will bring the drinks. They love a party. They love a party. They'll even pay an air fryer for churros. Beth, that's making me cough. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh man, that's a game changer. I love that one. But so far, I've only done crock pot stuff, but I've done nachos, taco in a bag, fondue party where you just melt chocolate and then they can dip the random stuff they bring. Sweet treat. They came up with a candy salad. Another thing they came up with was with a chip salad, ice cream party, pizza. I only do one like ordered food party. And to be honest, I might not do that again, but we'll see. I always do a holiday cookie exchange. They all bring in a store-bought, pre-packaged cookie, and then all I buy is the dollar store Halloween cookie bags. Easy incentive. And Chicago hot dog party, movie party. If anybody else has food incentives, please share it, because that churro one, my head can't stop racing about that. Cookie. Oh, okay. And then remember the free stuff. Kids love show and tell. They love just being able to skip a question. They also like to get one free answer. The silent disco. Silent disco is where they put on there's a pre-made playlist and they can choose between different like music to listen to, but they don't know what everybody else is listening to. Like somebody might be listening to hip hop, somebody else might be listening to like reggaeton, somebody else might be listening to pop, and they can like switch between the playlists and listen to music and dance to themselves. So that's a silent disco. Let's see, a dance break. All these you pretty much know. Just remember, free time goes hard. Another thing, if you want to make it academic, just do math play. For me, I'm going to start having math-based games that they can play. Kids love Uno. I had an Uno thing that I already had the game, the cards at home. They loved it. Just think of stuff you already got at home and then you can bring it to school. We do a business meeting once a quarter. And I highly recommend to have class jobs, whether you pay the kid. Ooh, a cereal party. Oh, that's so good. We also have a teacher jobs here. You want to make sure to assign jobs. This was me giving you want to share information. Sharing information surprisingly can be an incentive. Just telling them like, hey, this is where you're at. Ooh, croissants. This is where you're at. This is where you need to be. Here's where grades are. If we can get our grades up, this is how many people have A, B, C, and D right now. Information can sometimes be an incentive. Even if you do this, I'll share this information with you. Explain test. We do, if someone asks me, so here's a points metric that I made. All you got to do is enter in the kid's name, and if they hit these targets, I use this at another school. Well, clearly you can see I use it at Shoot. But you could take this and use it as a tracking system for the incentives you want them to work on. And you can put it in Gemini. Gemini will change it. Fun Friday. This is what I meant when I said I do the parties. So Fun Friday is, I used to do a STEM Fun Friday where we did a STEM challenge. They would used to, if they got, so they would have, this is during COVID, but if they remained muted, kept their cameras on, didn't do something random in the chat, stayed on task and were prepared, then they would get all these checks. Now, I do the exact same thing in my actual classroom, but it's not tied to COVID, but this is my only digital version. And then every time they fill in this entire row, then they earn a letter. And their goal is to be the first class to spell out Fun Friday. If they get the F, they get free points. If they get the U, they can use their computer for free time. If they get the N, they don't have to have no cameras. And then it keeps going. So each letter is something they can earn. And once they finally spell out the word Fun Friday, ooh, a tea party. Once they actually spell out the word Fun Friday, see, like this class got F-U-N, then they actually get a larger party. So it kind of keeps everybody on task, because even if you don't earn the party, you still are going to gradually earn something. Like I've never had a class that didn't get a letter at all, because if that's the case, I'm calling your house. You having too many. The incentive for me is to call your parent. Like you too out of hand. That's the bit. I'm going to call your house. Remember, student of the week, student of the month, great incentive. I do have test prep incentives. I recognize kids that are on level, almost to the next grade level and above grade level, or kids that met their goal, their stretch goal. I keep it anonymous, so they put in their student ID. If they want to tell people who they are, that's on them, but it's anonymous. And then they can also earn ribbons for how they do on the test. Like if they grow even a point, they get a ribbon. If they grow 5 points, they get a ribbon. If they grow 15 or more points, they get a ribbon. Ooh, a Crocs day. And if they meet their goal, they get a ribbon. And if they meet their stretch goal, they get a different ribbon. Kids love pins. You could give them a lanyard and just put little pins on. Older kids still love stickers. You'd be surprised how hard a sticker can go. And now let's get to the teachers. Say the best for last. I'm almost done. I'm sorry I went past time, but we did have some technical difficulties. Don't forget to use your $300 CTU funds. Use it. That's an incentive. Don't forget, when you do all these classes, change your lane, get more money. And that's an incentive for you to go back to school. If you want to go back to school, CPS has an incentive that will pay for some of your coursework, the endorsement program. Head to this website. Oh, I got to log in, but head to that website and you'll be able to see which schools give you a discount for being a teacher, which programs they're paying for. I go to the University of Chicago right now to get my algebra certification, free of charge. That's an incentive. There's a lot of districts incentives, partner and pilot. I will say this. I partnered with 10-Story Learning, NBA Math Hoops. 10-Story Learning, they gave my students gift cards just for piloting their curriculum. Modern Classroom, so good. They pay you for going to the trainings. They give you so much support, and it's a great classroom pedagogy. And I included this teacher deal website. They keep up with all the teacher deals, not just during teacher appreciation. Like I didn't even know Nike gave a discount online for teachers. I go hard. I go to J. Crew and Levi's because they give you a discount just for showing your ID. And then when I don't have my ID, guess what I do? I show them my CPS email. Everywhere I go, I ask, do you have a discount? Every single place I go. Quill right now, I think they have a teacher giveaway right here, and they're giving this stuff away as long as you just follow them. Janice is right. I think I got that in my slide deck, but CCRX, they have a teacher giveaway. You pay $40, but you get way more than $40 worth of stuff. Capitol Hill Challenge, they give you $100 gift card just for doing financial bingo. SIBO, it's a global market. They pay for your entire field trip, and they fed the students, and they got to play games about the stock market. Pilot Light has a fellowship. 10-Story, like I was saying, it's project based. It's not free, but I would highly recommend find curriculums that are looking for pilots, because these are my students. They were trying to test out something new, and they were looking for somebody to test it out. I was like, I'll do it. You're gonna let me get everything for free? These are my students. They got gift cards. They got to do this really fun activity. Pilots can go hard. NBA Math Hoops, free game system that uses real players from the NBA and WNBA. The CPS lane adjustment form is to increase your salary, Kyra, so that when you start out, you start at a certain lane. Then if you get your master's degree, your salary can go up. So it's an incentive to help you to continue to learn. You get your salary goes up. If you get your master's, your salary goes up. If you get your master's plus 15 credits, then if you get your master's plus 30 credits, your salary will go up again. And I think it's 30 credits too. And then the last one is if you get your doctorate. So every time you increase your education, you get a salary boost, and it's substantial. It's no, it's only for like going to graduate school or getting extra classes. Like for instance, I'm getting my algebra certification. So once I finish that, I'll get 15 graduate courses, which I can apply to my lane. I have to answer this after the end if it's not clear. All right. EverFi gives you a $15 Amazon gift card every time you refer somebody and they actually do the referral. So imagine if you refer two people, you already got $30 on Amazon. This is just my app. You can use it. It's not really an incentive, but I guess it's free for you to use the incentive. And it takes any math problem and makes it culturally relevant, and it's tied to Generation Alpha and Generation Beta interests. So if you want to use it, it's free, and you can update any math word problem or come up with new math activities. Don't forget these open houses. They go hard. If you want to see me being random at an open house on Instagram, I was just at the Navy Pier open house. That was $200 value. I got 2 tickets to the wheel. I got 2 tickets to the flyover exhibit. I got 2 tickets to the Children's Museum. Ooh, September 5th. I'm gonna be there. I got what else did I get? It was something else I got. I don't remember. But those educator I already signed up for the Field Museum. They be giving you food, drinks, you get professional development. They're gonna help me with a field trip because they want people to do a field trip. I know so many places do educator open houses, probably primarily from like, oh, guess what? IKEA. I love IKEA. IKEA got a teacher bingo night just for teachers. And you could come and win IKEA stuff. I know that one I learned about late. Janice is right. They be giving bus scholarships, so much. Like, look for teacher incentives. They are there. All these places have it. The Obama Center, you can get 2 tickets. Right now, it's so hard to get tickets to Obama Center. But as a teacher, you automatically get them. So just look at the Chicago institutions and look out for their open houses. So because for the sake of time, let's wrap it up. You get it. Master the motivation trick and steal the reward vault. Steal it for yourself and steal it for your students. Over the summer, there are so many paid opportunities for teachers while we're off. Look for them. Search for them. They're there. They will pay you. The CPS AIPD week. They paid for my hotel. They paid me to present. They paid for my breakfast and lunch. 3 things. That was over the summer. It was a whole week. June, I don't know, mid-June in Springfield. So the teacher, Google will pay for you to come and test out stuff. You just got to look for it and know where you want to go. So that's the key takeaway. Start small, team first, planning matters, focus on what you're good at. Remember, the Knicks was down 29 points. Never give up. If an incentive don't work, just try something else. You're going to find what works for you and be your own hype man. All right, this is my last session. Oh, thank you for coming. I did it for the week. If you want to come, remember, please provide feedback. That's how you get your ISB credit. Coming to Googlepalooza is an incentive. You get 25 ISB credits toward your license. And I put some AI activities in there for you. They're really good, actually, to do with students. Please join my mailing list if you enjoyed the session. Please join. I'll be doing workshops, newsletters, and I'm starting the first ever Google Educator group for CPS teachers that Google asked me to do. So if you're somebody that's interested, make sure you click either all 4 or at least click that one. I'm sorry I ran late. We did have the tech issues, but I do appreciate it, and I would definitely stay for any questions you might have. Have a great school year. You got this. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. All right. Are there any questions?
Yes, the last slide you just had up there. I'm not sure where that's at. If you could put that in the link, maybe. I mean, in the drop. Not a.
Which one? What was the slide?
Keep
about?
going. The you just it's like a survey sheet you just had up there, where you join your.
This one.
Something you said in Google something.
You get 25 credits if you went to 5 sessions a day.
No, not the Googlepalooza. The one before that. You just had a like a long form up there.
Oh, okay. That's the mailing list, and that. So, Mr. Levy, can you? Yeah, you can.
I just dropped it into the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, sure, no problem, Miss Henry. Any other questions?
There it is again.
How do you find out about the incentives, the free incentives for teachers? You just Google what?
I feel, in my opinion, it's kind of word of mouth. I've learned a lot word of mouth from teacher to teacher.